What if your dream home turned into a nightmare? Imagine moving into a beautiful old house filled with charm and character, only to find that it harbors dark, unseen forces. This is the terrifying reality faced by John, Sarah, and their three kids. Stay tuned as we unravel their chilling story. John and Sarah, along with their three children, had always dreamed of living in a big, old house. They finally found the perfect one, nestled in a quiet neighborhood. The family was ecstatic, believing they had found their forever home, and eagerly started settling in, full of hope and excitement. The first night in their new home was peaceful. The family enjoyed a quiet dinner and went to bed early, exhausted from the move. As they drifted off to sleep, they felt a sense of contentment, unaware that this tranquility was merely the calm before the storm. However, the serenity didn't last. Strange noises began to echo through the house at night. At first they were subtle, just faint whispers and distant creaks. But soon they grew louder and more persistent, disrupting the family's sleep and leaving them feeling uneasy and on edge. The kids were the first to notice the eerie sounds and began to feel frightened. They would wake up in the middle of the night, convinced that someone or something was in their rooms. Their fear was palpable, but John and Sarah dismissed it, attributing the noises to the house settling. The kids are the first to notice the eerie disturbances, soft whispers echoing through the hallways and faint footsteps in empty rooms unsettle them. They huddle together, wide-eyed, as they hear what sounds like soft knocking on their bedroom doors. Their once playful home now feels like a haunting ground. John and Sarah initially brush off the kids' fears, attributing the noises to an old house settling. They reassure their children with gentle words, promising there's nothing to worry about. Night after night, they dismiss the concerns, believing it's their children's vivid imaginations running wild. During the day, strange occurrences start to escalate. Objects inexplicably move from their original spots. A chair shifts across the room, and toys are found in different places than where they were left. The odd happenings grow frequent, adding an unsettling layer to their daily lives. Sarah experiences her first personal encounter with the paranormal one afternoon. Alone in the kitchen, she feels a cold breath on her neck, followed by the distinct sensation of being watched. Her heart races, and she turns quickly, only to find an empty room. The chilling experience leaves her shaken. John remains a steadfast skeptic despite Sarah's growing unease. He rationalizes every strange occurrence, convinced there's a logical explanation. His disbelief creates a rift between him and Sarah, who feels increasingly isolated in her fear. John's skepticism becomes a source of tension in their otherwise harmonious life. The paranormal activity in the house started to intensify, with objects moving more frequently and doors slamming shut on their own. Shadows flitted across rooms without any apparent source, and the temperature would drop suddenly, making the air feel icy. The family felt increasingly uneasy and on edge. Night terrors plagued the children, causing them to wake up screaming in the middle of the night. Their once peaceful sleep was now filled with horrifying visions and disembodied whispers. John and Sarah tried to comfort them, but the persistent disturbances left everyone exhausted and frayed. The continuous paranormal events began to strain the family's relationships. Arguments over the causes of the disturbances and how to deal with them became more frequent. The once harmonious household was now filled with tension, fear, and mistrust, making daily life increasingly challenging. Sarah finally convinced John to seek help from a paranormal investigator after witnessing her children's fear and the unexplainable occurrences. Reluctantly, John agreed, hoping for a rational explanation. They contacted a well-known investigator who specialized in hauntings and paranormal activity, desperate for answers and a solution. The paranormal investigator arrived, equipped with various tools and a wealth of experience. They conducted an initial assessment, noting the strange energy and disturbances. The investigators' findings confirmed the family's fears. Their home was indeed the site of intense paranormal activity, requiring immediate and thorough intervention. The paranormal investigator delved into the house's history, uncovering a macabre past that sent chills down everyone's spines. Hidden within dusty archives and old records, the investigator found accounts of unexplained deaths and previous owners who mysteriously vanished. The house's sinister reputation slowly began to make dreadful sense to John and Sarah. Among the unsettling evidence were old photographs depicting previous residents with hollow eyes and vacant expressions. Torn documents hinted at dark rituals conducted within the very walls of their home. These discoveries painted a terrifying picture, making it clear that the house harbored malevolent spirits with unfinished business. Desperate to understand the spirits' motives, the investigator attempted to communicate with them. Using specialized equipment and ancient techniques, they reached out to the other side. The chilling responses they received confirmed their worst fears. The spirits were restless and filled with anger, unwilling to leave the living in peace. The investigators' research uncovered a tragic story of the house's former owners. A family, much like John and Sarah's, had lived there decades ago. Their lives ended in a series of mysterious and violent events, leaving their spirits trapped within the house. This revelation deepened the family's dread and helplessness. Fear and disbelief gripped John, Sarah, and their children as they absorbed the investigators' findings. The realization that their home was a prison for vengeful spirits was horrifying. The family's once peaceful refuge had become a battleground, and they now faced an unimaginable terror lurking in every shadow. The investigator devises a meticulous plan to cleanse the house, involving a series of rituals that tap into ancient traditions. They gather specialized equipment, sacred objects, and protective charms. The family, though skeptical, places their hope in this strategy, trusting that the expert knows how to banish the malevolent spirits. As the family prepares for the cleansing ritual, they gather in the living room, their anxiety palpable. Sarah lights candles while John spreads salt across doorways and windows. The children cling to each other, eyes wide with fear. Every creak and gust of wind makes them jumpy, heightening the tension. The ritual begins under a shroud of eerie silence. The investigator chants incantations as incense smoke fills the air. Shadows seem to dance on the walls, and the temperature drops suddenly. The family holds hands, forming a circle, their breaths synchronized in hope and trepidation, awaiting some sign of change. Suddenly, an unexpected and terrifying interruption occurs. A deafening bang reverberates through the house, and the lights flicker violently. The investigators' tools scatter across the floor as an unseen force disrupts the ritual. The family feels a sudden, intense cold, as if malevolent spirits are making their presence known. The family feels increasingly threatened as the interruption escalates. Objects fly off shelves, doors slam shut, and a chilling whisper fills the air. Sarah clutches her children tightly, her heart pounding. John, visibly shaken, realizes the gravity of their situation. Desperation sets in as they consider fleeing the house. The family, on the brink of despair, gathers in the living room, discussing the possibility of leaving the house. Their love for each other is palpable, but so is their fear. The once dream home now feels like a prison, and the idea of abandoning it becomes increasingly appealing as the paranormal events escalate. As the family debates their next move, shadows flicker in the corners of the room, heightening their sense of urgency. Sarah pleads with John, her voice trembling while the children cling to her. The air is thick with tension, and the house seems to listen, almost mocking their desperation. With heavy hearts, they begin packing essentials, ready to flee at a moment's notice. The decision weighs heavily on them all, but they can no longer ignore the danger. As they gather their belongings, the sense of impending doom grows, casting a dark shadow over their every move. Just as they are about to leave, A sudden violent force shakes the house. The lights flicker, and a cold wind sweeps through, slamming doors and shattering glass. Their exit is thwarted, and they realize the spirits are more powerful than they imagined. Panic sets in as they huddle together. The paranormal investigator returns with a new sense of urgency, bringing a plan that promises to end the terror for good. He explains the dark truth about the spirits' intentions, revealing their malevolent nature. The family listens in horror, understanding they must face the spirits head-on to reclaim their home. The investigator returns with a sense of urgency, bringing new tools and knowledge. Armed with ancient texts and a deeper understanding of the malevolent spirits, they prepare the family for another attempt. Their determination is fueled by the escalating danger and the need to protect the family at all costs. As they delve deeper into the house's history, a chilling realization dawns. The spirits' intentions are far darker than previously thought, driven by an insidious purpose. The investigator's research uncovers a malevolent force seeking to trap souls, feeding off the family's fear and despair to gain power. The investigator reveals that a significant sacrifice is required to banish the spirits. This revelation shocks the family, who must now grapple with the gravity of the situation. The sacrifice involves giving up something precious, testing their resolve and pushing them to their emotional limits. After a heart-wrenching discussion, the family decides to proceed with the ultimate sacrifice. They understand the risk but are determined to protect each other and break free from the haunting. Their unity and courage become their greatest strength as they prepare for the final, decisive ritual. The final ritual begins amidst an atmosphere thick with tension and fear. The family and investigator gather their resolve, drawing on their collective strength. As the ritual progresses, the air crackles with supernatural energy, building towards a climactic confrontation that will determine their fate and the house's future. The room was filled with an intense, palpable energy as the final ritual reached its peak. The family stood united, facing the malevolent spirits with unwavering determination. Light and darkness clashed violently, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air crackled with supernatural force as the spirits fought back fiercely. Amidst the cacophony, a piercing scream echoed through the house. The spirits, realizing their impending defeat, unleashed their full wrath. The family held their ground, chanting the final incantations. With a blinding flash, the spirits dissipated, leaving behind an eerie silence that felt almost surreal. As the dust settled, the house seemed to exhale a long-forgotten breath. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, replaced by an unsettling calm. The family, exhausted but victorious, looked around in disbelief. The once haunted home now felt eerily quiet, as if the walls themselves had been cleansed. Though the spirits were gone, the family bore the emotional scars of their harrowing ordeal. Their relief was tempered by the memories of the terrifying events they had endured. Slowly, they began to rebuild their lives, finding solace in their renewed safety and the strength they discovered within themselves. In the end, the family embarked on a new chapter, forever changed by their experience. The house, now free from its dark past, stood as a testament to their resilience. With hope and trepidation, they moved forward, urging viewers to share their own stories and join their journey of discovery and survival. We hope you enjoyed this chilling tale of a family's paranormal ordeal. If you've had your own eerie experiences or know someone who has, share your stories in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell for more spine-tingling tales.